And they take from there, every sector is developed. Take healthcare. How many doctors do we need in this region to take care of this
keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Burby's 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Time check for you, 19 hours 20 in Guyana and right across the Eastern Caribbean. This Monday is the 22nd day of August 2022. Namaste and welcome to the Monday edition of the Glenn Lall Show. We return it as it is. For those persons who might want to contact us immediately after Mr. Lall's presentation, that number is 226-7453-4, 622-2222, or 624-6456. Those are the numbers you could call us on this evening if you would like to contribute after the Man of the Moment's presentation. With that in mind, sir, namaste, and it's over to you on this very cold Monday evening.
It's cold.
Yes, it is.
It began with rain early this morning. And, like when you have rain, it cancels cricket.
Yes.
Excuse me. We were supposed to have that protest at the office of the president today. I showed up there and nobody else didn't show up because of the rain. So rain canceled the cricket and rain canceled the protest. But we're back there tomorrow at 10 a.m. So please join us. Joshua, you coming out there tomorrow?
I wish I could.
All right. I'll be watching out for you, though. All right. Josh?
Yes, sir.
Namaste to you. Namaste to all our listeners.
Namaste.
In Guyana and around the world. Thank you, guys. Thanks for listening. I want to begin tonight's presentation by informing you that there's a new poll result that came out in the United States. Only today it came out that the threat to democracy is the number one issue in the U.S. If you do a poll in Guyana on corruption, I don't know what that poll will say. What do you think, Joshua? Huh? All right. And I just asked those two simple questions. And I want to also inform you that I just saw monkeypox have been discovered in Guyana. A male, 57 years old, have it. So, Joshua?
Yes, sir.
It's sad. It's sad. But you didn't answer me if we were to do a poll on corruption.
I don't know what to say.
What do you think would happen? Because we crucify and hang petty thieves. You know that? In our communities. And we do that for people who commit minor crimes, Joshua. But we elect big ones. Yes, who commit major crimes to high offices.
Yep.
What do we do? Oh, it's Monday, Joshua.
It is.
And as much as I hate to start my program on this note, I have to let you know again, Joshua, monkeypox is being spread by men and men having sex. All right? And you guys got to be careful, man. You got to be careful, extra careful. Wow. The studies show that it is contracted by intimate contact. Deep rubbing of the skin, Joshua. It's man and man story, right?
Yep.
Okay. Try your best to stay away, keep away from that. God bless you guys. And now, let's begin our program. No oil tonight I'll be talking about. Giving the new master, the foreigners, a break. I want to focus on a lead story we carried in the Kaieteur News yesterday, Sunday. After reading that story, Uncle, I said, Glenn, there's no way you can have a radio program and don't let the entire Guyana hear what's going on in this country with our health care system. Yes, health care system. Health is the most important aspect or ingredient we need in order for us to live a happy life. I don't think anybody can dispute that. Once you're healthy, you're happy. No one, not a single soul on earth can dispute that one. All governments around the world puts health care services as their number one priority for their people. Barack Obama won the elections twice because of his promise to provide every American citizen with health care, free or minimal cost in insurance coverage. In Guyana, on the other hand, the leaders only talk about health care and how much money they are setting aside year go, year come to provide better health care services in this country. Uncle and auntie, billions upon billions are being spent on hospitals, health centers, with equipment, machines, and drugs, that's medicines. The billions they have spent over the last 30 years in both governments. We, Guyana, should have had the best medical facilities with the most modernized and updated equipment, far better than the Caribbean, the whole region, Uncle. We should have been on par with the United States with the kind of money these people are spending in the healthcare system. But what was reported yesterday in the Kaieteur News about the New Amsterdam Hospital, even Africa that I just came back from, is way ahead of medical care, medical services than Guyana. Uncle and auntie, and none other than a foreigner had to come here in our country to expose this filth the Guyanese people of this country have to put up with for health care. Man, this thing is so sickening that I give up oil tonight just to speak on this thing, for you people to understand what the leaders are doing to you in this country. And what I'm about to tell you about the New Amsterdam Hospital, from the ex-president right down to the Minister of Health, should be dismissed, sent packing forthwith, or sent to prison. Every single one of them that was part of both governments who are in charge of the health sector over these years, Uncle, man, down to the CEO, the administrator should go to prison. Uncle, the New Amsterdam Hospital treats 200 to 300 people a day, and a foreigner from the IDB, the people who does lend Guyana money to help us upgrade or fix the health systems, have to come here to tell us in a report that after 18 years, you hear me clearly? After 18 years, this hospital is in a shocking state. The same IDB that is about to lend us 160 million American dollars to further upgrade 3 of our main hospitals in Guyana, uncle. The New Amsterdam, the Georgetown Public Hospital, and the Linden Hospital. Those people carried out an investigation. And Kaieteur News was able to put hand on the report that they submitted to the government. Uncle, the people found out that after 18 years, there was no upgrades, no maintenance to that facility. The things these people found out that we reported yesterday, uncle, made me sick. It made me forget that this is an oil-rich country or a gold-rich land. It actually put me back in some of the worst parts of Africa, India, and China I toured. Yes, that's where it put me back, having read that story yesterday. If I was the Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony, I would not wait for anybody to tell me to pack my bags and leave that office. I would get up out of decency and leave, never to show my face in public as a doctor, more so the Minister of Health. If I were running this country, uncle, I would jail all of them in both governments to have allowed that hospital to reach where it is today. Today as I speak. Now, tell me, man, auntie and uncle, tell me this. How can the surgical room of a hospital, like the New Amsterdam Hospital, the place where you have to do surgeries, deliver your babies, the walls are infested with mildew and fungus? Huh? Uncle, is that a healthy place to be in or to go and get surgeries done, man? Huh? You would get more sick faster and die quicker going there to do surgeries. That is part of the findings by the IDB people. I want to read some more of the people's findings to you that came out in a report submitted to the government, uncle and auntie, just 2 weeks ago. It's only 2 weeks ago I'm talking about the report they submit. The IDB people say that parts of the hospital, including the surgical room that got only 3 beds, 3 tables, have mildew on the walls, which is caused by the hot air trapped in the ceiling and the cool air rising from the AC units. Their words. The report further said fungus is not only inside the theater room, but fungus is also found in the exterior walls of the hospitals and on every other building in the complex. You hear that? Fungus is all over, outside and inside, and on all the buildings in the New Amsterdam complex. The people said that can be as a result of a botched paint job or incorrect paint for the physical environment of the hospital. Yes, the people are perfectly right. When you want to shortchange the people with the contract money, yes, contractors use the wrong paint, especially cheap paint, and add water to it, then paint the building. And that is part of the cause for the mildew and fungus on the walls. That is one part only, uncle. That's one of the reasons for the mildew and the fungus on the walls that the IDB mentioned. Now let me add another piece to that. The bank missed out. Let me add another piece to that. And I see it playing out every single day on every single government building constructed across this country. Uncle, the fire station that built in Nandi Park, where I live, recently they completed it, about 3 or 4 months now. I asked the supervisor, having been passing there every day, why are they painting the building so soon after the construction? And I even explained to him that the water from the blocks used have to first dry out before any painting should be done, uncle. I went on to tell him that is the recipe for fungus and paint and peel off. The man said, boss, we got a time frame to done the building. And I just had to smile and have a good day. Right next door to the Kaieteur News here, where I am, the Rijnveld police station only finished a couple months now too. I watch it every day as it goes up. Fungus and mildew can start coming out the policemen and women arms and noses very soon. Not the building or the station walls, because it is the exact thing that the contractor did there too. Paint the concrete as soon as it finished constructing. Look at it. It looked nice now. Give it a couple months and go inside. You will see what the walls look like and how it smells. It might even smell worse than the lockups that have urine or feces inside. That is what they're doing to every single construction, be it hospital, schools, fire stations, post offices, police stations, GRA buildings. It's sad. It's sad. This is one of the dilemma, uncle, the problems this country faces when you stain your fingers for leaders that doesn't know, that doesn't understand where their foot from them head is. Yes, where construction is involved. If a man doesn't know, then what do you do? What do you do? You know, that piece of advice I give you, uncle? Please tell your friends, tell your families, your neighbors, do not paint anything you build right away after construction. Wait at least 3 to 6 months, depending on the weather, to let the boards properly cure and dry. Or in the case of concrete blocks, wait a few months until every bit of the moisture and water dries out. Yes, then you paint it. If not, uncle, you paint it like that, man, forever. Forever your house will have mildew on the walls, just like in your Amsterdam Hospital. You can just say thank you, Glenn. You don't have to pay me for that advice, uncle. You're welcome. Bernard, you like the advice I give you there? Make sure.
Wonderful advice.
Yes, thank you. This is what lousy leaders give you. And every month, every few mornings, they have to paint and repaint. Maybe it's another way of giving their friends and families painting and building contracts, renovating contracts.
Yep.
Uncle, the IDB people say at the beginning the hospital used to offer 2 special medical services. So the examination rooms were built just to accommodate 1 doctor and 1 patient at a time.
Really?
Yes. But today, the hospital now offers 16 different services, but they don't have any space to build more doctor rooms. You hear that? When they build it, they had 1 doctor and 1 patient at a time. Now you got 16 and you got no room. And to solve that problem, they divide. Hear what I said now? To solve the issue, they divide the rooms with regular clot blinds rather than using medical blinds. You hear that? This is what the people say. To solve the problem, giving 16 services now, they divide the room and put clot blinds rather than medical blinds. Now you may want to ask why they're using, why the people point this out. Well, uncle, clot blinds instead of medical blinds. I believe the clot blinds is more dangerous. Germs can stick on them. Definitely. They can live in them. You can get more sick and die by touching those clot blinds, rubbing your skin on it. You understand? This is why the people had to point that out. You got to use the medical blinds, the one with the plastic where you can wipe off and clean, spray and stuff like that. But I hear this one. Because of the limited space the hospital has, the people find that they are dressing patients. They are dress patient wounds in the stock room, Bernard. You hear me, man? The stock room, yes, the stock room where they keep in the stock. With all this richness Guyana got, we are stitch up people. We brothers and sisters hand and foot in the stock room. Can you believe this thing, man? Yeah. This is where all germs gather. All the dust and mite and rat droppings and flies and God knows what else they inside their body. This is where these people stitching your brothers and sisters up in the event or in case of an accident. You believe that? The description in the report the people submit to the government, Bernard, on the waiting room area would make the patient more sick. At least it would make me sick. Uncomfortable seating. The place small, overcrowded, dark, and don't even have good ventilation. You hear that? The people said, because the waiting room is so small, patients are forced to wait outside in the hot sun or the rain. Ma Bernard, I visited medical facilities in Africa, and not on the outskirts, right? But in the cities. And they are well kept and designed. When I hear things like this and think about we gold, we timber, we bauxite, now we oil that is going away, it makes me more sick to live in a country like this with these bourgeois leaders y'all have.
The fastest growing economy in the world.
All they're studying is how to stay in power or how to get into power to thief. Beautiful Guyana this is, man. Bernard, you gotta like me. Uncle, you gotta hate me or love me. I am still me. And I will always be me. God's favorite child. I mean that because I know that.
Yes.
No weapons formed against me shall what?
Shall prosper.
Shall prosper. Thank you, Bernard. Thank you, Josh.
Welcome.
Friday at Jagdeo's press conference, when I asked him about the mining contracts not being released to the public So far, he played like he didn't know GGMC and GRA didn't release it. He promised again to ensure that the media get the gold, diamond, and bauxite contracts so that it can be published for all to see. So let's wait and see how long he would have us in this merry-go-round game or circle for these mining contracts.
Another year, you bet.
Auntie, uncle, I wanted to tell him that I already have some of those contracts in my hand. But I want it officially from the government. And I deliberately didn't publish it. Just to see if they're going to redact it before putting it out. So, we are waiting on these trusted and transparent leaders you guys stay in your finger for to release those contracts to us, okay? He also played a dumb role when I asked him about the oil production reports that is not being released. It's not being released for us to see how much oil being pumped out when the day comes. But he did say on a positive note that Minister Vikram Bharat will release the production reports.
A year ago.
Man, you got to hear this one. Today we carried a story in which we get a tip-off that the EPA is trying to duck the report from the Guyanese people. Yeah. And we carried it.
Yeah, of course.
Right? And when we published what Jagdev said Vikram Bharat would release, and today we carried how the EPA hiding the report, guess what they say? They put out a statement and finally said that the production report is on a special website, Uncle and Auntie. Wait, the production report is on a special website and it's been there 5 months now.
You gotta get special.
No, well, wait. You got to hear. Let me keep that piece for Wednesday about this website. What they're putting the report on for us to see. I'll be talking about that. Let me go back. Oil pumping out there, Uncle. And your government, who throughout their campaign promised to be transparent and open to all of us. Yes. Only today the media have to be bugging them to release the oil production reports. I gotta love this country, Uncle. Decent politicians we have. Honest leaders, eh? Listen more what the IEDB people had to say about that same New Amsterdam Hospital. You gotta hear more, man. The hospital have 3 beds in the ICU, intensive care unit, 7 beds in the emergency and accident unit. And in the operating theater, they got 3 beds too. After spending all those hundreds of millions, that is what the hospital have in the ICU and the accident and emergency unit. When it comes to the sterilization machine, to sterilize the hospital equipment they use on a daily basis, Bernard, the hospital got 2 and only 1 working. So that one is being overworked. Hear that? The machine was sterilized the equipment that they use, you know, that every nurse, every doctor, all of you. Yes. Hope you don't can't count on them.
Lucky we don't live in Warby.
Well, exactly. Another important and critical piece of machine all hospitals should and must have is a suction system, Uncle. A suction system which is used for clearing the airwaves of patients and remove fluids from the body. You hear me? That is something every hospital should have. Lord help me. They got 1 but it's not working. The entire they got one of the hospital is not working.
The whole of Bobby,
The whole Barbies.
that the government spending billions of dollars.
Man, the
Billions
whole
of dollars-
Barbies.
Billions of dollars spending.
The New Amsterdam Hospital does not have one. So you have,
They spending billions of dollars in healthcare system.
you know how many people must have, how many of our brothers and sisters must have already died without that thing not working
You
there?
have to tell me that billions of dollars spending in healthcare system.
They got one but not working. God help you if you got to go there tomorrow and need that piece of machine to save your life. And like I said, only God knows how much our brothers and sisters are already dead. Just because of that missing piece of important equipment. You will drown in your own blood fluids, uncle. Yes. That's what they're doing to you right now without that machine. Thanks to the Minister of Health,
Why are they?
Frank Anthony.
Why are they here for doctors, Ugly?
Huh?
Why are they here about this from our doctors?
I don't know, brother. I don't know. Hear this one, Bernard. The hospital does not have a waste management plan. So there is no proper system in place to dispose of the waste. What they have been doing is disposing the wastewater and other liquid, the liquid waste, through the sewage system, septic tanks. And those tanks are emptied into the Kanji River. Yes. Those septic tanks are emptied into the Kanji River. So just think what is happening with the water in the Kanji River, uncle. It getting poisoned with the hospital waste, and that water, yes, that water, uncle and auntie, is being used by the farmers to grow y'all crops. Man, instead of the hospital cure, instead of curing you and giving you better health care, it creating further sickness through the same Kanchi River, brother. Let me tell you all about the condition of the toilets now. The hospital got 14 sets of toilets, according to the IDB report. Some of them are not working, especially the ones in the emergency department, accident and emergency department. Man, one of my reporters went up there today, and you don't want to hear what he found out. I'll be saying that a little later. Now imagine, uncle, the toilets, what the patients and members of the public and staff members need to use is not working, man? Huh?
Just like the airport.
You mean to tell me the head for the hospital should still be there on a job, collecting a salary or not? And let me tell you, it is also happening at the public Georgetown Public Hospital.
Yes, sir. Definitely, 100%.
I am told that the nurses, the matrons, them, does not have a hospital, a proper toilet to use. None. A toilet, brother, in the Georgetown
Just like the
Hospital.
international airport, they finished $200 million US, Glenn.
You think the CEO should have a job there, man? Huh? The report went on to say, uncle, that the hospital does not have a functioning water purification system. You hear about it? To purify the water, they don't have that. That means they're using the water flowing through the pipe, just like that, to wash the medical utensils with the blood, you know, after surgeries, and hang it up. Yes. And hang it up. Just like that to dry. What a disaster that is.
That is why
Can you believe this thing, man?
That is why the minister don't go there, Glenn.
Huh?
That is why the minister
Don't be surprised. They would want to install a water well with a purification system next week for 800 million. They like to do these things like this. No water purification system in the hospital, man.
Glenn, that is why the minister go to Miami and go to Ford rather than go to Georgia Public
Huh?
Hospital. Is that true, Glenn?
Huh? I wonder if Jack Dave and Frank Anthony does take their families to these healthcare centers for medical treatment.
No, sir. They fly out,
Huh?
they fly them private jets to Miami. You know that.
The bank said, Bernard, the hospital does not have a laundry department that is capable of washing all the hospital linen. You know that? The bed sheets and stuff like that. And here it is. They said the dryer is not working. So all the bed sheets, pillowcases, towels, blinds, gongs, and so on, when I wash it, gotta go dry on lines in the sun. Of course, you gotta pray that it doesn't rain, and the dust and the birds doesn't mess on them. Oh boy.
That is not the reason
Wow.
why they go to Miami.
In case of fire, the firefighting equipment is outdated and useless. What a Guyana that is.
The
What a
fastest
shame this is.
fastest growing economy in the world, Glenn. You forget that piece. The
What a
fastest growing
shame
economy-
this is.
The fastest growing economy in the world, Glenn.
What the IDB said, Uncle, every Guyanese should be ashamed and upset to have leaders allowing these things to be happening to our health sector. To have one of the main hospitals in this country in that state of affairs after spending billions on that facility.
Every year. Billions every year, Glenn.
Now, let me add my bit to all that misery they have you people living in or have to go through.
Billions every year.
You got to hear this now, Bernard. That New Amsterdam Hospital was built by Bharat Jagdeo under his presidency at a cost of 13.2 million American dollars. You didn't hear me, brother.
13 million US dollars.
13.2 million US dollar.
How much Guyana dollars is that?
That is 2,800 million Guyana dollar.
That's almost 3 trillion Guyana dollars, you're telling me?
You hear what I'm telling you there, buddy?
3 trillion Guyana dollars?
No, 2,800 million dollar. Not 100 million, not 2, not 3, 2,800 million dollar.
2.8
2.8 billion American dollars. A Japanese grant
Guyana dollars. 2.8
back in those days, yes, built it. And what I know now about construction, Bernard, uncle and auntie, man, that money could have built 10 bigger, better, and brand new hospitals. Yes, you could have built 10 right across this country, one in each region, with that money they spend there. That Bharat Jagdeo and the Japanese government said they spend there. Back then, 16 years ago, uncle, what he could build there, what we build there for New Amsterdam Hospital, that one flat concrete building could have been built for less than the 0.2 million US dollar. Not the 30 million US, you know. The 0.2. You hear what I tell you, man? Back in those days, the 0.2 million US, not the 13 million, could have built that. Yes, uncle. Because it was 40 million Guyana dollar. $40 million 16 years ago would have given you what you have there, comfortable, with change left back in your pocket. Not the 13 million US, you know, man.
0.2 million.
Just a .2, uncle. 13 million I'm talking about. Not the 13 million, the .2 only. But you know, after I think it over, I said, man, uncle, let me stretch the thing. Although I know that .2, 16 years ago, could have built that entire thing. Let me stretch it. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt that it costs a little more money. Let's double the amount. You understand? Let's double that. Or let me put it 10 times, man. Right? 10 times. Let me say 2 million US. Right? 10 times. 2 million.
Yes. That's still
Oh my God. 2 million US, you hear me? Could I give you, man, everything you could even dream about.
Just still leave 9 million US. You left the guy.
That left you with 11 million US. You wait, you're not do the maths, man. 10 to 20. Yes, yes. Buddy, you give them, let me drop it, let me give them the whole 3.2 million, right? Which is impossible to spend at that time on that piece of junk they build there.
Yes.
You know? And let me say they give them the whole 3.2. So what happened to the 10 million American dollars? 16 years ago. You're reading through the line? Are you understand what's going on in this country since then? I will give, listen this, Bharat. Bharat Jagdeo, the now Vice President of Guyana, and Frank Anthony, the Minister of Health, Kaieteur News free with the building and everything. If they can prove to me or prove to this country that 3.2 million US dollar was spent there 16 years ago on the infrastructure and the building. Not the 13.2 million, uncle. 3.2 million. Right? I'm just asking them to show us how they spend 3.2 million, uncle. And I'll give them the end. I'll give them the radio station too. Yes. That's a challenge. That's a bet. And you know these kind of things, you can't hide them, right?
Why you want to bet they won't take you up on that?
But they cannot take me up on this. Okay? Because the $3.2 million what them building now, I could build it for them, build that thing there for 3.2 even unto this day. Although the price would have gone 10 times. So my challenge is out there to them. And when you see them, when they come along, you all tell them, man. Tell them, look, Glenn, I'll give you a whole empire. Free, you don't have to pay.
Just show you spend.
Just show me how you spend. 3.2 million, not 13.2. 3.2 at the New Amsterdam Hospital there. This is what the leaders of this country have been doing to you guys with every single structure they're putting down in this land, man. That is what you call wholesale robbery without a conscience. $2,800 million, uncle. Not 1,000 million, you know, 2,000, you know, $2,800 million. With that kind of money in 2004, let me repeat, man, Guyana should have had the best state-of-the-art medical center in this country with sophisticated machinery and equipment. Yes. Seating capacity of the highest standard. Fully air conditioned. Yes. Look at what they have now. It's online, uncle. Look at it. Who can look at it online? Look at the seating capacity they have. Some wooden bench where you wouldn't keep, where you wouldn't even want to keep in your backyard. That is the seating capacity they have. One of my Berbice reporter went to that same hospital in 2016 to fix his teeth. And he was shocked that they didn't have a dentist chair for him to sit in. And they tell him to come back. You hear Bernard?
Yeah.
And that is where they said they spend money. Same thing they did with the NIS building in Quarantine. You guys remember? That flat building. $69 million. Yes. Built under Jagdeo and Raja Lanchan. Not build, renovate. Yes, and according to Ashley Singh, when he spoke on it, commissioned the thing, oh, you have to hear how you got to hear how this man curly tongue to tell you about his seating capacity. Yes, that it has been made available to give every citizen the kind of comfort they so desire while visiting this facility. Yeah, that's the kind of language that is used, Bernard. When me and Adam turn up at the place, it's a set of wooden bench covered with them leatherette outside. And that is what Ashley Singh said, will give you comfort outside too. Yes, in the building. They didn't want me and Adam to go inside. The security, they get the security to lock the gate on us outside. That was all part of of President Jagdeo stewardship. They say how the roof, Bernard. Luncheon say how the roof cost $7 million to renovate. Not the building, you know, the roof. I don't forget those words. It is even sweeter than the insurance words he used the other day when he said, when he was at Surya. Yes. You can Google the story, auntie and uncle. Check it for yourself, the whole story. This is how your money, your millions, hundreds of millions going down the toilet year go year come with these so-called caring, concerned, decent and honest, transparent politicians. The Anamaya Medical Center at Belvedere Village in Quarantine, Bernard, the people got a nice two-story. Not a flat hospital like the New Amsterdam Hospital. Complete with equipment, surgical rooms, beds and everything. For $400 million in 2011, you know.
2 million US.
Yes. 2 million US. 2 million US, uncle, two-story. Jagdeo built that flat New Amsterdam Hospital in 2004. That is 7 years before, when things were far cheaper, for 13.2 million US, $2,800 million. I hope you all reading through the lines, or you all want me to spell out more what has been going on in this land.
2 million US built a two-story structure.
Yeah, 2 million US built a two-story hospital, right?
And 30.2 million built a one-story.
A flat, yes. But two-story, when you build a two-story, you got to cater for foundation. You don't understand me tell you, man, me can build them, me can the money. I'm tired, bro. I'm tired with these people. I'm tired with the crook, the thief that's going on in this land. They deliberately allow these things to break up and run down, uncle, so that they can huff another $2,800 million to remedy it. Yes. 27% increase. For all them public servants, money will disappear again. But they can't find them. They can't find money. Them kind of money that to give them same police and nurses and doctors so that these people can send their children to school with a decent lunch kit. You guys are tying mal around the neck and sorare them. While them a dump hospital waste in the Kanji River to make a air feel good, to make a air look good. That's what I'm going to dump it there for. Look what the coalition government did, Bernard. Under Vala Lawrence, them said them spend over $800 million. Not to build a hospital, you know, the COVID center, but to renovate a hotel and fix it up to accommodate the COVID patients at Lillian. 4 million American dollars. Y'all better pray that a leader like Lall doesn't emerge in this land. I will be tying the mala around y'all necks.
Definitely.
Yes, I will be tying the mala around your necks.
With a trap door underneath them. With a trap door underneath.
Exactly, with a trap door.
Underneath, yeah.
Bernard, 160 million US dollar. The IDB is giving Guyana gain. You don't hear this, man. 160 million American dollars. The IDB is giving Guyana gain to upgrade the health sector.
Upgrade to what?
Wait now. That is 32.7% increase for the public servants in Guyana. And the politicians can't find 1.7% to give them. You know, I will renovate all the hospitals and health centers in this country and give the public servants 27% increase. But Lall would not get those contracts because they know they can't get nothing. They can't get no kickback or any bribe from me. Uncle, with 160 million American dollars, man, you can build 10 7-story hospitals, one in each region, that will be able to accommodate minimum 250, 300 beds with offices, storerooms, water purification system and everything. Not renovate 3 hospitals, you know, man. Build brand new hospitals from scratch. Driving piles for the foundation too. Yes. And money will still left back from the 160 million American dollars. Yeah. Man, look around the city. All them 6 and 7-story buildings going up. There is far less than 6 and 7 million US dollars. Are you not hearing me, man?
6 and 7 million US dollars.
I want me to repeat it, uncle and auntie. All the buildings in Guyana, 6 and 7-story buildings, did not cost 6 or 7 million US dollars. Are you understand what I'm saying? You hear me? So imagine how much 6 and 7-story buildings y'all can get with 160 million American dollars. Almost 27-story buildings you guys can put up of a decent size that will give you more than 300 beds each. Use the first 2 stories, uncle. You can use the first 2 stories for emergency clinics and offices with storerooms. And the other 5 floors, each can carry 50 beds. So you're talking about 250, 300 beds with updated elevators inside too. You're not going to walk up or walk down. Oh, y'all wake up, nobody. Y'all wake up, na sissy. Huh? Wake up and smell the coffee, na man. When these people call figures in the billions, one would believe it's monopoly money they're talking about, brother. That's how I just feel. Mm-hmm. Huh? You know, I don't mind when they talk about the billions they're going to spend to upgrade the facilities. You know, I don't mind if they talk, when they talk about it. If we had the money, Bernard, I don't mind that. Man, but when you got to borrow the money, you know, when you got to put every citizen, when you got to take this money on the backs of every citizen of this country, Man, that is sad. And then turn back and thief out 3/4. Then how do you feel, Bernard? As a citizen? These are the things I can't stomach. These are the things I can't take. This is why I tell you guys, I don't need to talk about oil tonight. All that 160 million US, they will barely spend about 20 or 25.
16 or 28.
And the entire 140 will disappear, uncle. Huh? When these things going to stop in this country, man? You notice these radio programs, not a single word you hear from any one of the politicians. And these are facts, uncle. I can challenge them on every single project they did. Construction materials can't hide, man. Cannot hide. You can't hide that. From the Marriott Hotel to every single construction, every single project, I will challenge them and show you, uncle and auntie, how they rob you blind on every one of the project them. Like I said, you can't hide those things. You can check the blocks, you can check the steel, you can check the pile, you can check every single thing they spend. I am telling you. I built a 6-story. It ain't complete yet. It's near done. And I want to put a steel sheet up top the building when I'm done to show the whole world what Glen Lall spent. This is not thievery going on. This is not thievery going on, uncle. With all these politicians in this land, it's sickening what's happening. And it's get even sicker with the oil industry now. If these people can do you guys these things that you can look back and check and verify, imagine what they're doing to you people in the gold, diamond, and bauxite contracts. Imagine what they're doing with y'all, with Exxon and those contracts. You know what is being siphoned off and what is being thrown here and what is being banked there and what is going here and going there for them? No, man. This is why they can't tell you nothing. This is why they're so silent. This is why they're not renegotiating. Every single thing they put their hands on, everything they do, nothing is being done with an ounce of honesty or decency. Everything is full of corruption and beyond corruption. Got the public servants working for nothing. That's why everywhere you go, uncle, people actually begging you, oh, left $1,000 with me now. When the policeman or woman stop you on the road, left something with me now. How can you be upset with these people, uncle? Huh? The salary they're getting can't even pay the rent. Government after government thieving out billions upon billions and can't find a few millions to increase the people's salary. So that them same citizens, you hear me, can eat, can pay the light bill, can pay the rent, and give their children a proper lunch kit to go to school. And they don't have to go through this trauma. They're living through it every day. The citizens of this country don't have to go through the trauma too. When they have to go to government agencies for something like a birth certificate or passport or something. No. Because it's not easy. Some people go there and do, they're public servants too. And they're being asked for a raise too. So it's like a double whammy you're putting people through. Today, Joshua?
Yes, sir.
Frank Anthony tell the Starbrook News that the $60 million out of the 160 million IDB loan the coming that I just talked about, is ready to roll into the hands for the hospitals. Here is exact words, Uncle, what he planned to do with the money. These are his exact words. We have plans for the overall strengthening of the health sector to eventually offer world-class health services. Let me read it back, man. Frank Anthony, in today's Starbucks News, says, we have plans for the overall strengthening of the health sector to eventually offer world-class health services. Is everything these days we politicians saying gonna be world-class? Everything is state-of-the-art. The Skeldon plant would have been state-of-the-art cane factory. What it turned out to be? Not the white elephant. The old plants that we have was turning out more sugar than the state-of-the-art Skeldon plant at a cheaper price. That man the Jack Deo too. The modernized state-of-the-art international airport. What I promised we? Aren't now the toilet still run over there. It done Hanover and nothing for an international airport inside. I don't know how to pass the test. Don't ask me. I don't know. Gaisuku, GPL, the Water Authority, those are not milking cows. Those have become guzzling machines for the politician's pocket. For the last 30 years, what has changed, Uncle? Help me. Y'all tell me, man. They get away with all these things because you guys allow them to. You guys allow them to. Let me get back a little to the Starbucks News article. Here what the bank says. The money is supposed to be used for the 160 million US. It should be used to renovate and upgrade the hospitals. You hear me, man? 160 million, you know, not build hospital body. They're going to renovate the hospital now. I just tell you can build a 20-something 7-story hospital with that money. They're going to renovate the hospital now. So that Guyanese can get better access to quality and efficient healthcare services. That's what I said, man. With this money, they are set to, hear what I said, with this money, they are to set up digital healthcare services to reach the people in the outlying areas, the interior. They will be using the internet to connect with the people in those far out areas so they can deliver health care to the sick and the healthcare workers in those areas too. You hear what they're going to do? They're going to provide healthcare services to them out there. Yes. To purchase all the essential and much needed medical equipment and furniture for the hospitals. This is what the money going to be doing. They will put in new systems so they can computerize and store the information about each patient that visits the hospital. Wow. I love that one. Put in place ways to manage and provide more stable electricity and water systems for the hospitals. Set up proper systems so that all the medical equipment and the buildings can be properly maintained and serviced. And a digital inventory system to keep track of all medical supplies.
That's a good one.
Gosh, wait there, give me faith. Let me tell you all the story before I take your calls. A couple of years ago, 2011, 2012, to be exact, we carried a store we carried a few stories about the hydroclave system.
I read about that.
And a truck which a Georgetown Public Hospital purchased for a whooping 1.5 million American dollars. 300 million Guyana dollars.
One truck, $1.5 million.
Then they spent, listen man, afforded 60 million Guyana dollars to build a shed and a storage room. The hydroclave system, uncle, is used to dispose of the medical waste like syringe and needles and stuff like that. All them dirty, stinking things that's going there is born out. The cream of the story is the GPHC was unable to start using the system because they had to get an automated bucket, which is needed to collect the waste from the truck and to the storage containers to feed the equipment, which cost 8 million American dollars. Yes, Guyana dollar. So so in all, the whole system ended up costing 368 million American dollars. Up to this day, we don't know. Up to this day, we don't know if that thing ever work. Ever work. Anybody listening could tell me. Call me and let me know, please. I want to know if that thing's working. I sent someone to find out and they said, no, it's not working. But I don't want to say, for sure that. Just somebody call me and tell me. Like I said today, the toilet at the hospital are working. Oh my God. Bernard, this is sickening. This is sickening. These people talking about they're gonna computerize it to keep records of every patient that go there. Yeah. One computer. The malaria section of the Ministry of Health have one small room, okay? And the people need one computer, maybe even $100,000 computer, to record all the patients who took the malaria vaccine.
I had malaria
and they don't have a computer there.
I know that.
Eh?
I had malaria
for 40 years, the malaria section, anyone I want to go get the record isn't there. They don't have a computer. They got to go through a book. And if they go through the records there, it will take them 40 years to find it. Man, God have to bless you guys. And all the bets that I made there is still on. Call them and let them know that I'll bet. I'll take a few calls, maybe 2-3 calls and go because I need to get going. You have anything to say? Please put on the mic and let...
All right, you listen to us on 99.1 and 99.5 FM. Those numbers, you have a call on the line coming through from the WhatsApp.
Take the calls. Let's get going.
We take the call from please there. Caller, good evening and welcome. Hello? Hello?
It's sad.
Hello, good night.
Good night, go ahead.
Good night. Yes, good night. I must say that all that you have just said there just now is so much true that you're saying there. I'm calling from Burby, so I know what you're saying there is true. And that thing, as I'm speaking here, my blood is actually boiling to a point where I don't know what else I could do with it. But I try to keep it down. But let me say something. That hospital, from the time it was being built, from 2004, I think it was commissioned in some way 2006 or 7, thereabouts. I remember the old hospital that was in the township of New Amsterdam. Remember, this hospital technically is not in New Amsterdam. That is West Kanji, basically. So it's called the New Amsterdam Hospital. The old building there that was built during the Dutch days, that has Dutch architecture, it was being touted that that hospital was going to be kept as an architectural piece, and they would have been doing like maybe nursing classes and so on there. But you know what? The government then just allowed it to run down, and people started to work on it overnight until the next couple of months, everything just disappeared. just the concrete blocks that are there, the posts, those are the only things standing there at Charles Place, New Amsterdam. Now, coming back to this new hospital, when it wasn't long after they would have commissioned a hospital, and they have this, what you were calling there, referred to as the hydroclave or what you call it, but I would say for the people to understand, it's an incinerator,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
It's right in front of the hospital. You know, it wasn't long after that thing was being used, the thing got broken and there was no one to fix it, right? So I don't know where they were disposing of those surgical supplies, right? Now, did you know that in 2010, we had an American partnership with the government where they had a military base came in, and they were based in Berbice, and they were doing like medical outreach services. And so different people from all specialties, these military people, they were involved in the exercise. And I remember that was in 2010, somewhere around October. They were the people who came in and had to go and fix that incinerator at the hospital. And it was only then that thing started to work. So just imagine, this is what I'm trying to say. Guyana, despite of what they might be saying that they're building and all this kind of thing, there is no preventative maintenance management system. The governance is lacking. And I don't know what we can do for this, because this has been happening since post-independence. We haven't been seeing any improvement. We are only building things and nothing is being maintained, right? I am of the view also, because I've been to the hospital a few times. I've been there to visit people. The stench in there, I mean, I don't know if this is something continuously happening, but there are times when you go there and the hospital does not smell nice. I went to a time to the morgue, and the morgue had a different, that the mortuary, it had a different kind of smell. Like it's like a real, I don't know what word to use, but it was not pleasant, right? So something is wrong there again. Now, where you said it just now, they are disposing of the waste into the Kanji Creek. Well, that's a different story. I would want to believe that because I don't see any waste management system there, right? So these are the things that the people need to understand what is happening there. Now, that physical structure is one issue. What about when you have the nurses there, and then we are having a set of maternal deaths being happening there? You know, the hospital is being noted for that, right? And you see the kind of slothfulness of these people when you go there, how, you know, they're not really pushing their body there. I understand that when you go to a hospital, you're supposed to get prompt treatment. I remember there, I went with someone, it was somewhere around 10 o'clock in the night, someone got injured, rolled down from a step, and they had to send for that person, the therapist or who you call it, to look after the bones and so on. The person took 2 hours to come. It was 12 till we went there at 10 until after 12 the person came in, right? So just imagine the malpractices that is actually going on there. I know there are some very good people there, right? Some good doctors and so on. But that place generally, you got to go and see the cobweb on the ceiling, and that's a flat building like you rightly pointed out.
Oh.
I don't know what is happening, and I would want to suggest that this thing is happening throughout the country. All public buildings, this is the state of which everything has been happening. So that thing is a nightmare. That is a nightmare. And to answer, I think you made a statement just now too, that the people are staining their fingers for these type of leaders, right? Now, I want to say this to you, Mr. Glenn. If they are not the type of leaders that we want, right, and we don't have the option, but just we have the two major parties, who else can they stain their finger for? Now is the time we need someone to come forward who has the kind of a leadership and the vision to take this country forward. Because I personally can speak of myself, I'm fed up, I'm totally fed up with this thing. I was a high school boy growing up reading the Kaieteur newspaper when you started out. I think it was 97, right? And I used to see all the things that you used to highlight. And now I'm a grown man, and you're still holding steadfast to pointing out all the wrongs that has been happening from since that time. And we're not getting any better. We're not getting any better. And I want Guyanese to know this. Guyanese has been taking this thing too lightly. I don't think Guyanese are patriotic that enough to understand what is happening here. Every one of them, all of us are being shortchanged. That's just a mild term. I don't want to use the right word for that because it would not be appropriate. But, you know, I would say to Guyanese that they need to wake up and get serious about this thing here. We cannot be putting people back in there who are basically square pegs in round holes, right? this thing we have to stop this mentality. It's getting out of hand, and it could lead to something that happened in Sri Lanka just a few weeks ago. I am beginning to see this thing, and we cannot tolerate this thing. So that is my contribution.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you. Very nicely put. You know, I like when you have Bobicians. You see, you have to get the people. You gotta get people like him to speak.
These guys are waking up, yes,
You know,
yes,
you gotta get people to. You know, I just received a call while he was talking from a gentleman on the west coast of Demerara, and he said as soon as this guy start talking, they black out the place. So that's what he said. I don't know. You know, it could be the blackout. They black out the certain sections of Guyana just so they don't hear these programs.
Well, of course.
So, wow. Go ahead, Bernard. Take the floor. I'm tired. I'm tired. It's sickening, you know.
Take 2 more calls.
You know, tomorrow you get called there?
No.
Take it. Because I was going to say, I was going to tell them that tomorrow we are carrying a story for the development on the same New Amsterdam Hospital, on the medical facilities. We have about 330 medical facilities across this country, and you don't want to know what's going on in and around them. I don't even want to talk. Maybe I should leave that until Wednesday, because like it's too much to push down people's throat like that. You know,
Glenn,
I've given them enough.
Glenn, you know
But it gets even more sad. You know,
Glenn,
with
the
story we are
the
carrying. tomorrow.
majority of our budget goes into the healthcare system, Glenn. Everybody knows that. Health and education, the majority of our budget goes to health. And what do Guyanese get from that, Glenn? What do Guyanese get from that?
You got to understand. You got to see. It's not only majority of the money goes to health. You got to find out who is the people behind them getting the contract.
Not only that, not the contract, the drugs, the procurement of drugs for the Georgia Public Hospital.
Who are the people getting the contract?
They get a contract, yes, but the drugs do not even reach the people of Guyana. They get, as the Kaieteur News pointed out, over $10 billion Guyana dollars. Over 10 billion Guyana, the drugs were thrown away the other day. 10 billion Guyana dollars, Glenn. Every billion Guyana is 5 million. That's 50 million US dollars in drugs were expired and had to be thrown away.
And you know, Uncle and Auntie, these things are being published in the Kaieteur News. All these things have already been published in the Kaieteur News.
For a poor,
What they have been doing with the drug supply to the Ministry of Health, starting under Jack Deere's presidency, went throughout the PPP, then into the coalition government. They just switch hands and switch friends, and it continue under.
We have a call here. Go ahead.
Under the coalition government. Go
Caller,
ahead.
good evening and welcome.
Yeah, good night.
Good night.
This is Anthony Glenlall.
Yes, you are. Go right ahead with your presentation.
Yeah, you can't sing me now.
Hello.
We are hearing you, man. Go ahead.
I seem to lost that caller there. Go ahead, Bernard.
Glenn, you know, we spend, 50 million US dollars in drugs were expired and had to be thrown away. For billions of Guyana dollars spent on drugs, and for 10 billion Guyana dollars, the drugs be thrown away. For a poor country, Glenn, this is madness. This is to the highest level. How can a country progress like that with $10 billion expired drugs? Look, Kaieteur News pointed out the other day how one of the ketoconazole cream, which sells in any pharmacy at about $200 Guyana. We were paying over $1,200 Guyana for one tube of that ketoconazole cream, right? A cream that costs $200 Guyana being sold to the hospital for $1,200. I mean, where in the world can this nonsense go on and the people not do it? I mean, what's the authority department? What are they doing? What are they doing to these people in this country, Glenn?
I told you many times, when I remember some of these stories, I feel like scream for this country.
Glenn, but you are a patriot. Where are the
That's
other
him.
patriots in this country, Glenn? Why aren't anybody else standing up and saying something? All it needs, just stand up for your brothers, for your sisters. You don't have to come out on the street. Just stand up and say these things are wrong. How can you do this to your fellow citizens, man? Are we gonna be like those countries in Africa? Are we gonna be in the next 2 decades, whatever? We're gonna end up living on eating mud cakes. Is that what you want this country to end up like, man?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you have any patriotic sense in you? Don't you have any feelings for your fellow citizens, man?
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. You know, I want to tell the listeners out there that I had asked for some help to pay the lawyers. And I received a call from the States yesterday from someone who said people are collecting money to pay the lawyers. So I was like, guys, don't give nobody money. Don't give them not a cent. Any money collecting, it will be by a check, because every cent has to be accounted for. So I just wanted to tell you that the help, we need the help, but we'll be asking for a check, and the check must be made out so that the various governments can get their tax or whatever from a company.
Make sure you get a receipt. Make sure there's a proper trail for where you donate the money to.
All right. Any other calls?
No, sir.
All right. Well then, Bernard, let me just tell them good night. God bless you guys. I'll see you guys on Wednesday.
Good night.